Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Arkham Horror, the board game, 3rd edition expansion unboxing. So check out the first video if you want more information, just kind of about some of that stuff. Check out the other expansion videos if you want to see what's in those. This is the second expansion. It's a smaller box set, so it has a little less content, but it does add new cards and stuff like that, which are definitely great. Yeah, so let's hop into this, see what we got. So like the other videos, if you watch them, is I will show off the investigators, I will show off the item cards and stuff like that, but when it gets to the actual campaign and scenario cards, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, just because I don't want to spoil everything. If you're interested in seeing everything, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do a video actually going through every card, but because there's so many, it would take me forever. So it explains how to add this stuff, shows what new stuff, so there's a couple of new things in there. I also have a neat little, this time I show us off with a monster deck holder, which is really cool. So your base game had a little holder for all your event cards, so this one actually has one for your monster cards, which is really cool. So I would almost recommend, if you're buying the base game, to buy this expansion right away. Because you'll get this to hold all your different encounter, I call them event cards, I guess. Maybe they're called encounter cards. But yeah, they go in here because sometimes you have to pull cards from the front, sometimes you have to pull from the back. So it works really nice to just have a little thing to hold them. And then this is kind of the same idea, except it works for your monster cards. Because the way you have to play your monster cards is, I think you always pull them from the bottom because they're double-sided, so you don't know which one you're going to get. So this just gives you a little base to hold it. Plus, it looks really nice next to the other one. They're the same height and everything. So I'd definitely say, if you're buying the base game, maybe splurge the extra couple of bucks, buy this expansion right away. You're going to get a couple extra little holders here to put your characters in. Not that I think you're going to need that many. But yeah, that's definitely cool. Why it took, a second expansion for that to come out, I'm not for sure. Alright, so now let's look at our brand new investigators. We're going to get a couple of new ones. So in the base game, I think we had, 12. In this big expansion, we had 8, so I think we only get 4 more in here. But we're getting through a lot more characters to play. It's definitely cool, because they'll play differently, more options. So here we have Diana Stanley, the redeemed cultist, who has 7 health and 5 brain power. And she is going to be a mystic guardian. And we're also going to get Kate Winthrop, the scientist. So it's almost the opposite. She has 5 and 7. And she's going to be our seeker for this game. Helping us find them clues, figure out what's actually going on. So we're also going to need our Roland Banks, the Fed. He's going to be a guardian and a seeker, so he can be either one. So we have 1 seeker, we have 2 guardians, and Diana is also a mystic. So the only class we're for sure missing is our rogue. We have Skids O'Toole, the ex-convict. He's got some good willpower there. So he's a rogue and a survivor, and the rogues always have the special abilities. So Skid has a habit of gaining the advantage in risky situations. Uses attempt difficult tests that might otherwise result in wasted actions. And then we have 2 brand new scenarios. So we're going to have the Silence. Look at that guy. There's our new set symbol down there. A little skull with a star in it. The Silence of Kasahuga, or however you pronounce that, probably as well as I can pronounce, Vormadirith, Sweeper of Nikai, all sorts of fun words to try and say it. Alright, so here we're going to have these. So this is only, I believe, going to have locations from the base game. Because obviously you're going to need the base game. It's going to use some of the codexes from the base game, like 53, 54. So it doesn't necessarily only use the brand new ones. But it's going to have a new anomaly deck. And then we have Shots in the Dark. Ooh, with the O'Bannons versus the Sheldon, the gangs. Nice, that could actually be kind of an interesting thing. Around gang fights around town. So a bunch of those. So we have, yeah, some different coaches. So that's like all remaining O'Bannon Sheldon monsters. And then you have red and blue markers noting where their different bases are. That's cool. So rather than just being like, what evil ancient thing is coming to kill us, they're like, hey, let's, it's the 1920s, there's a gang war. Yo, let's go see what's happening with that. Alright, character-specific cards. We start with Diana Stanley, the Redeemed Cultist, who's going to get her... Zoom up on these a little bit. Call the Storm spell. She's also going to have a Dark Insight talent. And she has a Stolen Amulet. So Kate Winthrop, the scientist, has a Flux Stabilizer. Gives her a neat little item. She has a talent for replicatable findings. And she's got some research notes. Roland Banks, our Fed, of course, needs to have his 38 special. Can do some follow-up, gain some extra stuff. And then he has Implicable. And then finally, we'll have Skiggs O'Toole, the ex-convict. Who has some light fingers, makes sense. He's on the lam. And he carries around his switchblade. Alright, and then, like any good expansion, we're going to get some extra bonus cards to play with. A couple new ones added to the deck, not a ton, but we'll have some new allies. So we're going to get Amos Blythe, Sheldon Grifter, Nick Katuri, the freelance smuggler, Chuck Fergus, the O'Bannon driver, and Delilah O'Rourke, the syndicate assassin. Get some more common items to throw in our pool. We'll get a camera. Yo, third expansion, why not have a map of Arkham? Get some true magic. And a warding stone. Got some magic spells here. We're going to get a lure monster. Clairvoyance. Instill bravery. And rack. I do wish that they had, I know they get a few of them in the first set, where some of the cards that were investigator-specific cards they made available to everybody. I wish they did more of that, just because there's some that were kind of neat, like Switchblade would be kind of neat for anybody to get, instead of it only being a Skiggs card. So here's our other set of cards. So these can be anything, or ones you just draw randomly. So we have Armed Backup, the O'Bannon Reputation. So this must, I'm assuming you can only have this if you are working with those guys. A Black Grimoire item. We have a job, a Bosse's Champion. I probably said that wrong. We have the Cleaner, the O'Bannon Reputation. Joey Vigil Supply for O'Bannon. Donahue's New 45s. It's just kind of a funny card. Just side tangent off the game here. So Donahue is a member of kind of one of the crap, what do you call them? Speakeasies? Is that the right word? Because it's Prohibition era, so he kind of runs like a thing like that. He runs a little club. It's kind of hidden. But so like every one of these characters, the investigators, had these actually big backstories and stuff, and they did start writing books about some of them. So one of them, Jenny Barnes, who's in the base game, she actually, when she gets to Arkham, she gets introduced to Dainty Donahue. He tries to slip her a Mickey to take advantage of her. She doesn't take it because she's smarter than that. Takes his 45s, and then, so like all her cards, like in all these different Arkham games, she always has a set of 45s. As like one of her main weapons. And then this is like a thing going on that, since Donahue's new 45s. Alright, side tangent. I haven't read all the books, so I can't. Some of these other cards have other things too. So Friendly Raven. Good Standing. Grave Dirt. Got some Hired Muscles. These are some Sheldon cards. The Sheldons are actually kind of interesting too. Just another side tangent, because reading through the lore of how this game was made, the Sheldons were actually like a group of mobsters during the Prohibition or around the area where like the guy who created the game, like his grandparents were, and it might not have that 100% accurate, but yeah, they're like mentioning that, so like he knew them from family stories and stuff, so like he added that group of people into his game, so it's kind of cool. We have Leg Breaker. I don't know if he took any. I don't think he probably took any of the other names and stuff. Here we have Leo DeLuca, the Louisiana Lion. Library Docent. Good old Ma's Apple Pie. Maeve Chapman. Mego Brain Case. Mego is our type of extraterrestrial being in this game. Here we have the Miles Crown, victim of the Mego. That's interesting. Peter Silvestre, the student athlete. Puzzle Box. Schoffinger's Tagalog. Smuggler Contract, a Sheldon reputation card. We have the Star Tarot card, got a lot of the tarot cards. Trusted Source, a police reputation. That's interesting. Valued Donor. Velma's Cherry Pie. As you can see, there's a tentacle sticking up there. A little odd stuff going on at Velma's Diner. We have some Witchweed. And finally, we have the World Tarot card. Alright. Then we have some brand new conditions. So we're going to get Wanted. Bunch of different Wanted cards. Put on the back. So like the other games are like Dark Ink or Dark Pact. So here we have Wanted, but we're going to get some different effects from Wanted. We have Rattled. Kind of a Vengeful Pursuer, who's a human. You could get Beaten, Disarmed, Shaken Down, or Detained. A couple of different bad effects of becoming Wanted. And now we're going to have a bunch of monsters. So the monsters will have their black side, which will just be showing off, where they spawn at and how they move. And then they'll have their white side, which has more information on them. So we have a Brawling Riot, which is a human mob. Some Brutal Goons, which are Sheldon humans. And probably get a bunch of different Sheldon and O'Bannon characters. Capricious Stalker, Night Gaunt, like big giant. This game loves its giant bat-like creatures. Cerebral Extractor, the Mego. Corbin Bouchard, Sheldon's Servitor. Crawling One, an Aberration. Got two of those. Freckless Agitator. Guys like him will flap their gums at anyone who'll listen. Beat feet as soon as somebody flaps back. The old-timey talk, I love it. Grasping Fungus, which is another Meagle. I love we have a new type of monster in here. Got 2 of those. The Hit Squad. I love that these gang guys are all massive, so they engage anyone in there. So it's like you're in the middle of this gang war, and this Hit Squad shows up. It's not one guy shooting at you, it's a bunch of guys, and you can't avoid them. Mob Enforcer, Obeying Human. Morphic Terror, Formless Spawn. Mouthy Racketeer, Sheldon. Rough Bootlegger, whether running rum and guns or just running off folks who poke their noses where they don't belong. Sheldon's goons are happy to get their hands dirty. Second one of those. We have Sylvan Riley. And then finally we have the Undulating Mass, which is a Formless Spawn. Alright, so before we get to all the special scenario cards, we show off tokens quick. We have 4 brand new characters. Tokens for them, of course. And then just got a bunch of extra new tokens. Nothing brand new. They just gave some more big hearts. They added some actually Doom clue counters that are 3s. So if you start massing a bunch at a time, you don't have to keep counting them all out. And that's what they gave us. No extra brain, so they just must expect more damage during this story, but not necessarily too much mental trauma. And then we get into the cards. Like the other videos, slight spoilers. I'm not going to go through every single card. But I will show off. I'll be flipping through them just so you see what there is. So they're going to add some new cards for each location. Some for the different stories. Ooh, and I dropped one. But definitely makes like all the things more playable, because you could throw these into like definitely throw these into other modes and stuff too, or different scenarios. So we're gonna get some more for Uptown, the streets, South Side, Rivertown, North Side, University, East Town, and Downtown. And then each one will have the 3 different area locations on there. Has a little symbol on the bottom, just in case you do want to sort them back out. But as you can see, each one's gonna have different text, tell you to do different stuff. But this is, when you get to them areas, how you can interact with them. So depending on which area you're in, you get a bunch of different interactions. River Dock, TikTok Club. The library, get some stuff there. General store, probably get some items. If you're in the thing for the streets, you're gonna get residential, bridge, or scenic. So those are those. Did a bunch of different ones. Definitely cool. We have some more headlines, some more random things you might have to drop. You drop from the Mythos Cup, which adds some other effects. Like the other expansions, definitely cool because they're going to keep adding to the numbers of them. So I'm sitting here, I thought this was the 3rd expansion. This might actually be the 2nd expansion. I think this one came out before the other big box. I thought the big box one came out first. No, yeah, so they're just to add the numbers there, so that way you can add them into the game. But then you know which one they're doing, so if they request draw number 33 or 35 or whatever, you know which one you're getting. And then we have, of course, our anomaly deck. Can't really see the picture on there very well. And I can't even see it very well looking at it because of the type of cross they use on there, the stitching for the cards. But it's like a bridge going up, stairway going up to a cave. But this will be Yugoth's Emergence. So when you have to play stuff for this, it'll tell you to draw it and do effects based on different things. So again, look how many years. 12 of these. Bunch of different gameplay, because depending on where you're at, every time you draw it, you might have a different effect. And then we get more stuff for each location. And these are the ones that are specifically tied to the events at the bottom, so shots in the dark. So we're going to get 24 for that one. And then we have 24 for the Silence of Tsathuga. But yeah, they'll be for each area. But they do like how they keep them different colors. Just so that way you don't mix them together easily. Same location. But they'll tell you to put doom counters on certain ones or different effects. And things you're going to do. Love it. I love it. There's a lot more extra content with that stuff. And then finally, we're going to have our stuff to add to the codex. Like the newspaper headlines, we're going to have different numbers at the bottom. Just so that way we know what's coming up. And like which ones to draw. And I'm just going to kind of go through these quick. It's going to be double-sided on some of them. You have like O'Banion, Sheldon Alliance, Caught. Hit them hard, wipe them out, Breaking Bond, Seeing Red. The Search. We're going to get one for North Sides. That can have a special effect if you're in North Side or Uptown. Alien Science, Arkham Ravage, The First Bite, and of course we get our boss card. I love his information on the back. One of the ancient ones. Alright, not too much there, but that is what we got. Yeah, I guess now that I'm sitting here going through these numbers, this is probably the second expansion, which makes sense that you release the full game and then a small expansion and a big expansion. But I don't know why I thought it was the third one. So yes, I definitely, again, I would recommend if you're gonna buy the game anyhow, pick up this one because you're gonna get that little monster holder. Plus, you have 4 more investigators, some extra, tokens and stuff which aren't bad. Like the 3 ones might definitely be helpful. A couple of items and stuff like that. It's not enough of it's not changing the game in any significant way. That's gonna make the game play any differently. Versus if you buy like one of the other big box expansions which add new locations or new token types or card types. This is just going to add a couple more, more of the same stuff you already have. But I think it'll make the game a little bit more fun. Alright, so check you guys out in the next video. Bye.